Eric back at the Naturopath. Thanks for coming back. We're going to create one last video for this series on food sensitivities, and this one's called 10 Mistakes People Make with Food Sensitivities. So let's go over a few different things in this video. It might take a bit of time, but it's definitely worth your while watching. The first one is people don't often look past foods. Okay, they think food's the big problem, but they don't tend to look further at their lifestyle and what they're doing, you know, how they're sleeping, how they're working, how they're getting on with people around them, if they've got any emotional problems or personal issues that need resolving, if you get my point. So there could be stuff here that's over and beyond a food issue. So of course there's a sensitivity to a food. Well, that's our assumption, but what's causing that? Okay, are we living a stressed lifestyle? Okay, what's happening? We need to look beyond food because there could be other things going on there too. It could be, you know, many things. The second one, assuming that all problematic foods are going to be problematic forever. And you know, this is something I've seen too many times where a person has completed a food allergy test, say in 2006, and they had egg showing as a trigger, and now it's 2020, 14 years later they're still avoiding egg. I mean, how dumb is that? Not a good idea, especially when it comes to really high quality foods like egg, which contain so much protein, all the amino acids, you know, cysteine and methionine, there's choline, there's inositol, there's all these beautiful minerals in egg that really help your nervous system, your brain, you know, your hormone system. So when you start taking foods out for, you know, 10, 20 years because someone said something, I mean, you know, you're really limiting your ability for your body to build up good health, aren't you? The third one, staying on an elimination diet for too long. So some people, again, narrow their diet down more and more. Excuse me, they take certain foods out, they eliminate them, and they stay on that forever. They don't come off it. And their naturopath or their dietitian or whoever may say, well, this is how it's going to be, but it doesn't have to be that way, all right? So the first one was not looking at past foods, obviously lifestyle. Second one is assuming all problems are food driven, but the third one is staying on the diet too long where you've eliminated stuff from, because eventually you should really put a lot of those foods back in so you don't suffer from any deficiencies of both the macronutrients, you know, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, or the trace elements, the minor nutrients. There's a whole swag of those, and it's easy to become deficient. Right, the next one, the fourth one, skipping the food reintroduction phase. So many people will eliminate foods, but as I said, they don't reintroduce those foods back in again, whereas they should, especially when their health picks up. You know, their digestion improves, their bowel function improves, their energy improves. You really need to slowly start putting foods back in. When it comes to eliminations in my practice, what I used to do was take out the foods first that people enjoyed eating the most, or the key trigger, potentially a trigger allergic food, that would be the first one to go. And often that's usually the last one to reintroduce, is like the favorite food. That goes in right at the end, not at the beginning, okay? Number 5, ignoring portion size. So if you've got this sort of suspicion that a food could be a problem, definitely be careful of how much you eat. Because people who like foods, their favorite foods, will eat too much. It's not unusual for me to have a male patient that will eat a pound of Brazil nuts like in a day because it's his favorite nut. Well, of course he's going to get problems. So always look at the portion size of food that you love, and more particularly when you're trying to eliminate it and bring it back in, look at the portion size, limit the portion size. Obviously, the more of the trigger food, the more potential for problem. Right? Number 6. Poor planning when eating out or going to parties or weddings or whatever, you know. So it might be okay at home what you're doing, cooking and managing yourself, but then what about when you've got to go to your sister Caitlin's wedding, okay, or something like that, and all of a sudden there's Moet champagne and lobster tails, and or there could be spam. I don't know what you eat at weddings these days, but you know, you get my point. You're eating out, you're in an environment, emotionally charged environment, all of a sudden, poof, you throw caution to the wind, and you know, things could happen real bad. And the next day, oh my God, I regret it so much. I've heard it 100 times over. Weddings is a classic one, but it could be funerals, it could be anything. It could be bar mitzvahs. I don't know what happens with people these days. Number 7, you are elimination focused, you're problem food elimination focused. You're not health food inclusion focused. So you're looking too much at the bad guy. Okay, everything's bad. Oh, that's bad. It could be this, it might be that. So, okay, don't look at that. You may be reacting to a food right now that you're not even suspicious of. Okay, it can happen. It can happen. Often they say the people or things closest to you create you the most harm. All right, so just be careful, because there may be a food that you're absolutely head over heels in love with, but it may be causing you a problem, and you've got your blinkers on. You don't want to see it, or whatever. But remember, don't just look at the bad food, but look at also including good foods or other foods into the diet that you may not have previously thought about including. Right? It's good to have an open mind when it comes to eating food. Number 8, your diet lacks nutrient-dense foods. This is so common. So if you are lacking foods that are very high in nutrition, your body will lack those nutrients, either creating symptoms or deficiencies, or requiring you to eat more food often, not the right kind of food. So nutrient-dense foods, nuts, seeds, grains, vegetables, fruits, all the healthy stuff again. There's plenty out there. Number 9, okay, you're following the XYZ diet, okay? Be careful about diets that other people make, because the diet wasn't formulated for you in particular. You have to formulate that XYZ diet to become the new Tom Smith diet, whatever it is. So that's the ideal diet for you, is the one that suits you the best, not what some guru or some books come up with, all right? And number 10, quitting when you're feeling really bad. And this is often time when quitters won't win and winners won't quit, If you're not feeling bad, you're not feeling good, you're going through a process, you need to stay there and work through the process, all right? Most successful patients I've ever had were the ones who never quit. They stayed there and they kept working through these issues like food, and eventually they came out on top. And now I've got some incredibly healthy patients out there that were once really, really sick. And that can be you too. But remember, when you quit, you never win. All right. All you're going to do is just keep going, starting up again down the track, and then quitting again. So 2020 is here, new year. It's time to get your health on track. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate people coming back to watch my channel. Subscribe if you can. Thank you.